everyone, my name is Juliet Maris and I'm an integrated body worker. I help active professionals permanently alleviate pain through physical, emotional, and energetic alignment. So I've taken a lot of trips, some on a plane, some on a train, and some in a car. And the biggest thing that I've noticed is the seats are just the worst. Each seat that I go into puts me in this crouched position where my head's pushed forward, my pelvis is tucked under, and my back is pushed into the back of the chair. So this feels horrible on my body, so I'm sure it doesn't feel super great on your bodies either. So I just wanted to give you a couple of tricks that I used to help myself feel better. So the first thing is a little wedge to the back of the pelvis. So when you sit and your hips are tucked under, so you're kind of like this, it allows the spine to go into a seat. But if you use, I'm using a towel, you can use a sweatshirt or a pillow. So I'm using it like this, and what I'm doing is using it to bring my pelvis forward. So there are two pointy parts in the bottom of your hips. They're called your sits bones or your tuberosity. That's my dog Luna. And you want those, when your pelvis is in a posterior tilt, the sits bones are in front. But you really want your sits bones to be behind you. So this way, your spine automatically can find more length. When you're right on top of them, I feel like it brings more tension to my hip flexors, and it's more muscle work to keep myself in alignment. But if they're just slightly back, then everything can kind of stack up a little bit nicer. So that's the first thing, a little wedge under your tush. The second thing that you can do is put something in the back of you. So I'm going to fold this 3 times. So when I did this, especially in the car that I was driving in, my butt was not to the back of the seat, and I was far enough forward that the headrest could not push me forward. So I was able to find length in my spine and not feel like contorted like this. So those are 2 things for the seat. A third thing is if you're in a car, the wheel driving. Well, if you're driving the car, I should say. So when I was 16 and taking driver's ed, I remember that they harped on your hands 10 and 2. But when I do that, I have more engagement up here. And it's way easy for my shoulders to come up into my ears. But if I allow my arms to relax at my sides, so the upper arm is straight instead of out here anywhere, then my elbow can bend at a 90-degree angle, and then the steering wheel can be right there. So you can move the steering wheel up and down however it needs to be. And you want to just make sure that you're not breaking the wrist, so going like this or going like this, or deviating. This is deviation, right or left. So you just want to make sure that the wrist is in alignment, because if you start to get the joint out of alignment, then you're going to give yourself pain over time and you're going to be annoyed with it. So just really try to keep the joints in alignment. I also found that sometimes I like to switch it up to this, but I find that this way I kind of grip a little harder. So if you'd like to get an arm workout while you're in the car and you're not going to bring your shoulders into your ears, by all means, grip on the side. But just try to refrain from anything in the top for a long period of time. A long period of time meaning 49 minutes or more. And so the very last thing, the 4th thing, was that the height of your seat. So on a plane, if you're too high, which I don't feel like is usually normal, there's nothing you can do about too high unless you put your feet on top of something. Because what you want is there to be a 90-degree bend in the knee and a 90-degree bend in the hip. So once these are at 90, you can kind of just relax the feet so they don't have to be so, soldier upright, but you can relax them, and you can have up to like 12 degrees of rotation, or you can keep them straight but just have them relaxed. In the car, I was really low to the ground, and the seat that I had did not raise, so I used the little wedge in the back, and then I also had to put a little bit more underneath my bum in order to have more space, because otherwise it flexes the hip more. So this is hip flexion, so it shortens the hip flexors more than they need to be for a long period of time, and it just doesn't really feel good. Like I feel almost like when I stand up that my hips are jammed, like there's something that I can't stretch or open up. So I found actually that these 4 things were really helpful. So you can kind of be Goldilocks, and try each little thing out and see what works well for you. So I hope you have some wonderful plans for the end of summer. It's been a hot one so far, to say the least. If this is helpful for you, I would appreciate it if you would share socially any way you like, or share with anybody that you know that would benefit from this or has been complaining about the way that they feel when they're driving for so long and they have certain issues. Also, if there's anything that you'd like me to share my take on, any advice that I have for any issue that you're having, feel free to comment at the bottom of this blog post or send me an email. I'm very open to helping you in any way possible that I can. And the very last and most exciting thing of all is I wanted to share the first little tidbits with you that a friend of mine who's also a health coach, her name is Lindsay Ackerman, we are putting together a yoga and health, wellness, nutrition retreat, and it's going to be someplace beautiful. It's between 2 locations right now, so once everything is kind of firmed up, I promise I will give you the details. And it's really going to be amazing. Everything that we're talking about is really going to help to lighten everything and really revitalize your system. So hopefully you can enjoy the rest of the summer, even though it's really hot out, and get ready for September to start. Have a lovely rest of the month, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.